Hi everyone, today I'm going to paint a more complex still life, so welcome to my studio again. And I don't think I will do it all in one go, so I prepared a simple drawing and I pre-toned my canvas with a very light wash of transparent red oxide brown. And I think I will start first with my center of composition. I will start from Tangerines and then that little shiny picture I have, and then probably I'll go to grapes and bottle. So I will be doing parts of this video. I'm not sure how far I will go today because I think it's a little bit tiring to watch for everyone very long videos, so that's why I'm trying to do it in sessions. So let's see if it will work out. So on my palette I have titanium white, cad yellow light, cad yellow deep, cad red orange, cadmium orange and cad red light, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide and Mars brown, also another transparent brown. I also have black, and I think I didn't mention I have white. So I chose this composition. Right now I have it in a daylight, and I have also cool day lamplight as well in the same direction, so once it gets dark I may put that lamp on, but right now my highlights are pretty nice and bright, so I'll start from Tangerines and see how far I go. So I'll start very thinly on the painting, so I'm mixing some brown, transparent brown, Mars and orange next to each other. Just see for shadow. So I'll start with the shadow. I will use transparent brown, ultramarine blue and some orange, and just add a little bit more of ultramarine blue. So it's quite a nice warm day, but it's cloudy, so that works for me because I don't need bright sun for this one, so I would have consistent light. So let me try and see how my shadow will work. So I'm squinting. I'm trying to see how dark my shadow is. It's quite dark. And I'd rather paint it darker than lighter because I can always correct it, and it's always easier to go from light to dark, from dark to light than other way around. So at the same time I will show the shadow. The other one has a little bit more green in it actually. Quite green in the shade because there is a reflection, I think, from green leaves that's there, so it's a little bit still dark but green. And actually the colors of these two tangerines are different. I deliberately chose two different ones because I want to show one orange one and one yellow. So there is a little darker here, a little bit of green. So the green I have here right now is cobalt. I'll see if it will work for me. If not, I will use other green later, viridian. So at this point, this one works. So I'm laying my colors right now. So I'm mixing more yellow orange now. It's cadmium yellow deep and cad orange, and also have a dull version of this with the addition of yellow ochre. So I'll see how that one works on this one. Yeah, it works well. This is my brightest part. And lightest. So I'm going to continue building that part. It's kind of orangey and yellow at the same time. There's some additions of green on this side. So continue building that shadow. So I'm using Gamsol as my cleaner. Now I'm adding a little bit of cad yellow light just to make this orange little light. And so there is one shape here, and there is one shape here. The main thing not to lose my shadow completely here, because it goes like this, but then there is a reflected light, so I don't want to lose that reflected light. And it's actually from white cloth. Sorry, I don't want to lose shadow, but I don't want to ignore that reflected light as well. So it's from white cloth. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do just a very light mixture here and put it here as an indication of my reflection, because I didn't put white cloth yet. I'll do it later. Actually, it's so small that I have to use a different brush. That's the only thing with a bigger painting. You have lots of different elements, and some of them seem to be smaller than you expect, but you have to keep the right proportions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I don't lose this part. Hopefully I'm not blocking the view. And I think at this point I'll leave this and I'll do another one. So this one has more yellow in it, so I'm starting from cad yellow light combined with cad yellow deep and a little bit of orange, so there are some green parts in it as well. So it's all different variations, so I'm searching for that color. So I know you don't see my palette, but I'll show it in after. So really it's kind of experimenting and trying to find the right proportion for the color you see, or for the value, more importantly. Like, I'm not that concerned about the color. If I get the value right, then the color can be made brighter, more orangey, more yellow. No one is going to check either exact concentration of yellow orange in the tangerine, but it's important to get the right value. So that's what I'm doing now on this one. The other thing you can also do it with color. If your color is bright and light, sometimes it helps to kind of bring it up more, even though that the values could be very close, but you can emphasize your subject. So I have stem over there, so I'll keep this spaces kind of marked, and then I'll work around them. So again, the brush is too big, so I'll have to stop talking for a short while and just do a little bit of squinting here. It's almost even lemony color on this particular tangerine. Okay. For some reason I like working with big brushes more than with small brushes. Just don't know. Maybe that's because I'm got used to them. That's a little bit too bright, so I'm just adding a touch of white, only touch, to this spot. And then at the same time I'm doing the same with the other one. And I'm going to do next value up here. So again, I'm mixing white to already existing yellow colors. In the case of first tangerine, it's more kind of orangey. In the second case, it's more lighter yellow color. So I'm building that little highlight here. And it's not like with daylight, it's a little bit different than with the artificial light, so that highlight is more diffused. I don't want to make it artificially strong. So that's probably, so I think my thing's sitting here a little higher, yeah. When we're looking at them, it's a little bit from top. Just building the shape. Actually, it's very interesting to play with it because just one little stroke can change things in the shape. This kind of transition area. Again, I need to take a smaller brush. Not the best brush I have here. It's actually good for painting pet hairs, but not for the strokes like this. So I'm going to find a little bit better brush. So this is a rosemary soft brush. it's a flat. Sorry, that's the brush I'm going to use now. And this is a brush I've been using, and this is a synthetic rosemary brush. So both rosemary, one is synthetic and one is the, it's called Eclipse Lawn Coma. Really like these brushes because they're very soft. That's very good with painting, that you can have soft touch. Plus, it's one of the brushes that can lay on top paint easy. Even when you think that you can't lay more paint, so it's a very nice brush. The only thing, you have to make sure that you put enough paint in it because it's very soft. So a little bit more green here, actually. Okay, so I will correct the shapes later, but right now it's the main thing is to lay down the most important colors and values. So I could see, actually I'm correcting it a tiny bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it looks realistic more or less, and you know it's a tangerine. Then you can work out the other parts later. See if you want to add more detail or do you want to leave it like this. The reason why I'm working on tangerines, because I start of the show and then I start looking at more and more the painting, I start losing my focus a little. So that's why it's good to pay attention to the most important part first, and then you can do the rest later. So I'm going to put this little stem. Actually, I shouldn't do this now because I should do more of the painting around it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down my white now. So the white color could be like shadow type of the shadow part of the white, could be any variations of grays. So in my case it's a warm gray, so I'm going to use, I had some old grays here that are very old. Have a little bit of, so I found some more or less warm gray. I have cobalt on my palette, so I'm adding a little bit more cobalt, a little bit more orange. So combination of cobalt and orange does really nice gray. So I'll see how that would work with my tangerine here. Looks like it might be the right value. So all around there is also fabric. So I have white fabric, and then I have green leaves and a bottle. So I'll work around here just to see how it will look. So this part is very gray and dark. There is this part, so I'll only lay down some of the shadows. I'm not going to work through the whole material because I still have another important part, grapes. So I'm working on fruit also for another reason, because I don't want to to go off faster than I think. Oh, I have a little gap here actually. Somehow I didn't notice. So that's what they say, the longer you look at the subject, the more things you see, but it's a two-part thing. Then you're losing also a lot of things. So I actually decided to do just a little bit of the bottle. It's a very dark green bottle at the bottom here. The reason why I'm doing it here, I just want to see the relationships between. So let's go back to material. So here in front of the bottle, it's again kind of in the shade because it's covered by the grapes. And I also haven't even touched my background yet, so that will be next thing to see relationship with all the values. So I think I got the value of the shadow right here. So there will be some grapes here, and it will be a little even more darker. I'll add a little bit more blue and blue. So blue and orange make really nice gray. It's one of my favorite grays. If you're in doubt which gray you want to make, like any opposite colors make really nice grays, but this one I like because it's just a nice gray, very clean one, and very easy to manipulate it as well in terms of cool and warm. You add more blue, you get more warmth, coolness, sorry. It's hard to paint and talk, that's for sure. So just do a little bit more cobalt. Cobalt is a much, how to say, not as screaming blue as ultramarine. So if you add cobalt as blue, you can modify easy, and you know you have blue, but it's not a very strong blue. So with ultramarine, if I added ultramarine to my gray, that would be very strong. But I still keep ultramarine on my palette, and I keep cobalt on my palette as well, because both of them I use in different times with different mixtures. Like for whites, I definitely would use cobalt and orange for white shadows, and for grays. So in this case, this is gray. My material is actually white, but because I'm right now painting shadow parts for now, it looks like it's not white, it looks like it's blue. So anyway, so there will be some white accents in the middle there as well. Not purely white, but the one that like to strengthen the my main subject, the main characters of my still life. This one is a little bit warmer white around this one, because there is a reflection going from tangerine into the fabric and other way around. So this is a start of still life. I don't know how much time I have right now, but I think I may leave it soon. So I'll have like Netflix series of painting this. Then it will be interesting to watch, and no one will be bored too much watching it. So back to here, this spot. So there is more light at the back. I'll add more light here. We'll have to leave leaves as well. I'll have to paint leaves probably over. So there is one leaf there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just quickly do a little bit of bottle, not all of it, because there is a very nice reflection at the back as well. So the bottle is not really brown, but so this is a nice reflection. And the back, while I see it. Using actually the same colors, brown, a little bit of green, because it has label. I'm not going to paint that label on the bottle. So it's really dark at the bottom here. It has this. So now I'm using a little bit of stronger color, ultramarine, to add some depth in here. I will be doing reflections later, but for now I just want to catch this nice color. Really nice green, blue, yellow. Not as white. It's darker where the glass is thicker. On the where it's bending as well, it's a little thicker. So normally with shapes, sometimes I get them wrong, and then I go back and correct them. But at this point, for me, is what more important to get the value and some of the color right. Actually, before setting up this still life, I was thinking, what should I do for still life? And I was looking at one of the beautiful artists for still life from the past, Chardin. It's spelled as Chardin. So he was working in 18th century, I think. Yeah. So he in France. So he did some really nice still life. So if you're interested in still life, you can learn or just study his works and even try to copy. I didn't copy any of his still lifes, but I think I would do at some point. I did a value study on one of his still lifes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a different type of gray now, cooler one, and I'm using my old gray with some ultramarine. And some brown. So using brown and ultramarine. Maybe I'll add a little bit of yellow ochre. Just this gray at the background is much darker than my tablecloth. So I have to figure out the right value for it. So, but because I right now have a sunshine suddenly, it changes my situation completely. So more brown. So the color has to be, regardless which color for background I finish, it has to be very neutral, because I don't want to background jump from the background at us. I want my subject to be the main characters, not the background. So I guess I'll work on the bottle later, because I started changing it and I may be stuck there forever. So for now I'll just do background. The background is kind of dull gray, and it has some blue even purple in it, but at this point I'm not sure if I want to put purple. I may try, because if I put purple it will complement my green bottle, and also purple is complementary to no, actually I will make it, sorry, I will make it more blue, because blue will be complementary to oranges, but again it will not be pure blue, it will be like blue gray color. So I just want to see how that one will compare to the rest of my setup. So this way I'll know, do I have to do more work on my background, or can I leave it for now like this? So this is a combination of brown, ultramarine, and I added yellow ochre, lighter spaces. Just want to see how material will work with it, so I have to kind of go around here, paint over it again before I get to my main character. So let me see how much time I have. Oh, 31 minutes. That's not bad. I'm not sure if I should leave it here for the first episode, or should I do a little more. I probably will try to do a little more. So my material at the back goes like this. I have to focus on that. Material goes here, painting over some stuff that I already did, but that can be fixed. This is my little picture nose. That would be another interesting thing to paint. I probably will do picture later in the next episode. Let me try to finish with the bottle then, as I already started, and I have all the right colors here. So it's more light on top here. Much more light. Actually I got it right. I like this color. Looks like exactly on the bottle. Main thing not to use it. So this is our highlight area. This is probably the lightest part of the bottle, because that's where it changes direction and form. So it has lots and lots of different colors in it. It has blue, it has more brown and yellow than anything else. This part of the bottle is a little darker. I'm trying to make brush strokes different, so there's some cool white gray stripes as well here. So that's from material. So I want to capture those because they look really beautiful when they reflect. I don't want to go too much. And then I have these orange parts as well. So they're also really beautiful. One comes here and one yellow comes here. I don't want to make them very bright because then it will be brighter than the subject, right? So I'll only do them to extent we need, even though it gives nice glow. So let me try to add more orange here. There's some wrong color here. I saw some orange, but it's not the right color, so I'm going to correct it. I'd rather keep it dark here. The good thing with oil paint, you can paint over and you don't have to worry. The main thing to clean your brush. Sometimes you get distracted and forget to clean the brush, and then you touch something and it's spoiled. So I have this little stripes going up the bottle here. Some of them yellow, some of them blue, some of them kind of different. Maybe it's even good that I have sunshine now, because it kind of adds all kinds of different reflections in my bottle. It's not strong sunshine. So I'll do my highlight here now. So it's highlight with a little bit of blue in it. Because overall I think my light is still cool. Sun just coming, but then it keeps going back. So there is more yellow here. It's really warm, kind of, because it's at the back. So I want to capture that warmth. This is the most kind of interesting part of the bottle, and then gets dark on the sides. So I'm going to paint this part as well dark. Trying to step back and see. Yeah, I think I may have to kind of leave the bottle, because I don't want to overwork it at this point. I can always come back to it and see what needs to be done. So I think this is a good start, and then once the whole picture background and pictures in there, then I know what else needs to be done. So in the meantime, add more white here, and more white here on material. Ideally, material should be done wet and wet, because then all the folds and everything will be nice and soft, because I have a soft material. And then I have these grapes, they cast shadow, so I think grapes I'll also do later. So maybe I will stop at this point. So I have idea about mandarins, I have idea about bottle. So I don't know if I will do picture in another video, and grapes and fabric. In the meantime, I may work on background with a big brush. I may not even film background with big brush, because it's not interesting. It will be just kind of squinting and trying to put the right values. At the back it will be like this, and then it will be adding lighter patches with white and yellow ochre. So background will be a mix of transparent brown, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and white. So different variations of these colors depending on how their light falls, so I'll figure out how the light falls on this. Something fell here. Don't know what it was. So anyway, that's how it will look. Actually, I thinned it a little bit with Gamsol, and I think that's what it should be like. Slightly thinned, not as thick as I put it in over there. So background can be easily overworked. I mean, not overworked, overpainted, if you want to change it. So my grapes are purple, so this dull gray should be okay, because the light will travel like this, kind of like this. Tangerines, and this picture is very shiny, and then highlight on the bottle, so highlight will be traveling this way from bottle to mandarins and to this highlight on the picture that you don't see yet. I don't see it myself either, but it's going to be interesting. So I have some black here and some brown, so I think it's not quite silver, but it's going to be dark, very dark. Different variations of grays and browns, and some orange and some ultramarine. So I'm not sure yet how the picture is going to be, but I can see lots of purples in it already, so probably shouldn't touch it, but just for the purpose of kind of figuring out how it's going to look, I may do that, because this is quite highly reflective object, so I'm going to add lots of different colors in it. But in the meantime, this is a base color. The base color is really brown, ultramarine, and a little bit of alizarin. Yeah, so that picture is going to reflect everything around, plus it has some of its own kind of old stuff. I don't even know how to explain what it is. Not stains, but all kinds of different things. So it's dark. Oh, where that came from? So that's the dark part of the picture, and inside it's light. Actually, I'm using the wrong brush as well. So anyway, so that's kind of where I'm going to leave today. Of course, I'll fix all the shapes of, like I lost my bottle a little, but that's not a big problem. I'm going to find the bottle and background and everything else. This is just an idea of how it's going to look, full final finished painting, but I'm not going to do it now, all of it. So it's already for more than 40 minutes, so I'm going to stop at this point, and I hope to see you again for part 2.